Testing, testing, testing. Hi there, guys. My name is Rohan Bevit, and today we are gonna be talking about how a lathe machine works. We're gonna be talking about how a lathe machine works. Okay, so how does a lathe machine work? Well, what does a lathe machine even do in the first place? It's basically like a chipper. Okay, it basically chips off excess pieces from like various materials that you need like a perfect shape with or stuff like that. A lathe machine will basically chip them off, and we're gonna be talking about the entirety of it. Okay, all 23 parts in it mostly. Okay, so first off we have the legs. Okay, these basically support the entire lathe machine. Okay, then second we have the tray. What does the tray do? It collects chips. And what are chips? It's basically the excess metal that falls down. It falls into this tray. Okay? The third is the bed. Okay? This is where most of the mechanics are going to be placed in, such as the carriage and other stuff. Okay? The next is the feed box. This little handy dandy machine right here, which basically rotates. The next thing being the lead screw, okay, which is used for thread cutting, okay, and also moves while thread cutting, okay, and also attached to the feed box is the feed rod, okay, which moves the carriage from side to side, okay. And then next up, and then on top of the bed, here we have the two parts of of it, okay? So the two parts being the headstock and the tailstock. Let's first talk about the headstock, okay? What does the headstock do? It basically contains the driving and electric mechanisms inside the lathe machine and how it works, okay? Some of the parts include the driving clutch, a spindle, these are the spindle controls, and a check. So what the spindle does and what this does is basically it rotates the spindle, rotating the check, which rotates the workpiece, which is the specific material you want to cut, okay? So that's the specific material that you want to cut. And when it's spinning, it creates a live center, which rotates, okay? Now, next up, we have the tailstock. This basically adjusts it and pushes it together, okay? So the tailstock can move from side to side as well. And then there is the dead center, which is basically just this center point where you just basically, fixate it at, okay? And this also kind of is like the opposite of the live center. While this one is moving, this one is dead center, which means it doesn't move. It's dead, okay? Next up, we have a ram clump, or whatever, okay? This is basically to fixate the dead center point, okay? And this is a hand wheel, which basically moves the dead center forward, backward, or whatever, okay? Then there's also a tailstock lock, okay, and it basically locks the tailstock into a fixated position, okay, to keep the workpiece in contact, okay. Next up, after that, we have, let's see, now looking around, we next have over here the carriage, okay, that is in the middle. As we said a little bit before, here with the feed box and the lead screw and all that stuff, okay, here is the carriage. It's covered by the apron, okay, so this is the carriage right here. This wheel basically allows the carriage to move from one side to the other side. And here we have the cutting cannon, okay, which basically, so here's the cutting cannon, and then right next to that, there is the saddle on top of it. And the saddle and over here there's a wheel that moves the saddle forward and backward, okay? Then over connected here is, so this piece, what this piece does is that it rotates. It allows you to rotate it, okay? And then on top of it, on the very top of it, is a tool post, which is then, and then a tool is connected on there to, well, cut it off, to chip it off. This is where the tool is, and all of the carriage is covered by the apron, okay? So those are all the parts and how a lathe machine works, and that's basically it. Thank you for watching this video. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye!